Hello and welcome back to another episode of SuperCoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for having us.
Yes.
Blown away with the support so far. So Chris, you can give the shout outs.
We are. We've got a few shout outs to go before we get right into the Geelong podcast. It's going to be pretty exciting today, guys. But we've had quite a lot of followers in the last week or so. So we just want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's followed us. We had this one come through earlier today, which was Cade Colo 16. We've also had BJ Mason. We've had Ice Truck Killer 69. So I'll just quickly go through these guys here. So I think actually Ice Truck Killer I remember from being a follower on our SoundCloud. I think it's one of our most listened to people on SoundCloud. So thanks very much to Ice Truck Killer. We've got Tanner Hay 2K. So maybe they're maybe they like 2K. I don't know, NBA 2K.
That was out of bounds.
It was out of bounds. We've also got TFP Doherty, Aussie Gamer 231, Andre Small, ZJ Fisher, obviously from last week, and then we get into all the guys from last week. So thanks to everyone who subscribed to us or followed us on our Twitch stream last week. We're really thankful for that. And today we hope to do a little bit better. So, like you said, we've got now Twitch notifications that come through. It's pretty cool.
Okay, I'm over BT already.
You're over BT?
I'm over BT already.
Fair enough. All right. So, we've got Geelong coming in for today. So, tell us a little bit about Geelong there, mate.
Geelong's very interesting. It's as you look through the list, it's pretty much either premiums or bust. But they do have some very relevant rookies to get through. So first things first, we'll stick with the similar format. Mm-hmm. Chris, we will stick to the similar
We'll stick to the format. I'm not really great at sticking to formats, hey?
You're not?
It's not my strong suit.
I mean, you're meant to take a girl out first before you...
Yeah, no, I'm a break the rules sort of guy.
You definitely break the mold. Okay, so let's look at their draw.
Okay.
Geelong, 12th hardest draw. So not that great considering.
Great. I'm so sick of seeing Geelong in the finals.
Well, 12th hardest actually. So 12th hardest draw is probably actually not that bad. What's that? Another way of saying what the 6th easiest?
Oh, Passive Penguin just followed us. Thanks, Passive Penguin.
Thank you, Passive Penguin.
Yeah, he commented on our Twitch last week.
What a name.
Well done, mate.
What a name. Okay, so actually not too bad. So the 12th hardest, which is what the 6th easiest. Double ups are Hawks, Sydney, North, Adelaide and Western Bulldogs. So I think Hawks now becomes a slightly easier game without Titch.
Yep.
Particularly with that midfield. So it's going to be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Hawks midfield. I suppose
I'm going to get to that.
We'll get right into that.
I had to do more research, Chris, because I pretty much just locked it up and went Titch and nothing else and move on.
Nice. Thanks, Cade Collar. Cade Collar just said, hey guys, pump for the D's preview. Yeah, it's coming, mate. And there's a lot of content.
Is that actually Cade Collar Jazzing?
Could be.
I just pumped to hear myself as a mid-pricer. Well,
if you are actually Cade Colo, hello, and could you please do something for us in SuperCoach this year? That'd be great.
That would be great. Okay, so let's look. Geelong actually have a pretty tough start to the year. Yep. So they versed Collingwood away, so at the MCG, Melbourne at home, Adelaide away, the Giants at home, the Hawks away, the Eagles at home, and Essendon away. So
that is a tough start.
That's not an easy start. Not an easy start at all. They do
some have great cracker games though. From a visual perspective, like you want to go to those games.
Easier back end from round 16 though. So when you're trying to push for finals or even for SuperCoach draft for the finals around then.
Yep.
So they verse the Dogs, the Saints, Hawks, Sydney, then Freo, North, Lions, and Carlton to finish the year.
Cool.
So get on before.
Yeah. So that's great because you can get in before after the last bye.
Yeah, you could get.
So if you really, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Actually.
So for a forward or something. Yep. So if a forward's cheap.
Yep.
So maybe a Menangolo goes cheap, or
Hawkins.
say Hawkins or Duncan or someone that happens to be cheap around the bye. So then you could.
Hawkins had a great year this year, but he's probably got a little bit more time for you.
Jump on, just watch with your bouncing up and down there, Chris. I know you're excited, Chris.
That's what I do.
But you might just throw this cam right off the thing again.
That's true.
Okay, so their bye is around 13 bye, so they share it with the Lions, Collingwood, Melbourne, Sydney, and the Eagles.
Yep.
So in with some tough competition.
Yeah, definitely.
For spots. So we had a look at a bit of the draw the other day as far as SuperCoach finals went, And I think it was, the Eagles were pretty good. Geelong had a pretty good finals run for draft anyway. Bulldogs are actually quite friendly as well, versus some fairly easy opponents throughout that final series.
Yep.
And which we'll get into in some of the other podcasts anyway, but some teams have a dream run to start the year.
Yeah.
Dream run.
So some players or some teams and players that you want to start with straight off the bat, and there's other teams that you can upgrade to.
That you can actually wait and so if they have a harder
have
draw,
a better back end. Yep.
Correct. And everyone likes a better back end.
Yep.
Okay, so in the off season they did make some moves. They traded.
You're right.
You're right. It does feel good on the whole.
on the whole.
So some off season moves. So they traded out Tim Kelly. Oh wait, that's right. He didn't go at all.
That was pretty bad.
I'm interested.
We had a big rant on one of our pods at the end of last year, being like, surely he has to go. Like, there's no way you could keep him now, but they did, and he's going to be playing for him.
Yeah, fair enough. That's their right.
Good on him.
And but what were they offering up? Like 2 or 3 second round picks, and they're like, no. They could have taken those.
And he'll go next year. I think that's a foregone conclusion. So are they going to get any? They will get something for him because he's not a free agent.
He's not a free agent, so they'll have to trade for him
unless he enters the draft and then hopes that.
But then why enter the draft in the first place? And then he gets overlooked. That'd be hilarious. You know what? No, we're not picking you up.
Does his knee enter the draft?
Oh, jeez.
No, we don't wish that on anyone.
I'm interested to see how Tim Kelly goes, to be honest, but we'll get to him. They recruited Rohan. Is it Rowan?
Yeah, it's...
Call it Rohan. Rowan, Dalhouse. They lost some fringe players like Menzel, McCarthy, etc. So nothing too much lost.
What they lost, they drafted in probably better versions of him. I see Dalhouse as someone who's a really good player.
Yes.
Played out of position completely.
Better than Menzel.
Well, just more reliable. I don't think better than Menzel is probably the right way to say it, but definitely more reliable than Menzel, that's for sure. So, and Rowan, I mean, he's probably in the same boat in terms of his body. He's a great player if he can actually get on the park, but that's about it. So,
right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alrighty. Okay, so we'll move on. So, rookies to note. Charlie Constable, 123k midfielder.
Yep.
Was drafted last year, so he was always highly rated then.
We were thinking he could get a run last year, and he was actually playing good football in the two. So
yes.
I'm surprised he didn't. Really surprised he didn't get a run last year.
Well, he pushed hard for a senior debut in 2018, but despite his impressive VFL form, didn't get opportunity. He finished in the top 10 in the Cats VFL Best and Fairest, averaging 24 disposals in 15 matches with a career best 34 disposals and 1 goal game against the Box Hill Premiers in round 21. So he looks good. He's a tall midfielder, which I think...
Big body.
Well, Geelong seem to like tall people.
Yeah. The problem's just how do you get into that Geelong midfield?
Correct.
He'd be probably playing in any other team in
definitely
in the country,
in a mix to play a role for the Cats in 2019 as they look for more midfield and half-forward options. I think he's a must-watch for the JLT.
I've got him in my team at the moment.
So do I.
And I'd like... If he gets named round 1, it's going to be hard to pass him up. But obviously you need to watch him in the JLT, see what he's scoring like.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Am I shaking the camera with
my
arm?
Yeah, that's why I keep bumping you,
it's all right.
dickhead.
You know what I need to do? Probably move over a bit, but whatever.
Well, probably. We'll have to reschedule that for later.
I just got these big arms and it's just happened.
Jeez, not as big as your ego.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you keep bumping the bloody table.
That's what I do. Alright, cool. Let's get into it.
Next one, Darcy Fort.
Okay, tell us about Darcy Fort.
117k ruck, pick 65, mature age. So this is where he's interesting. So he could be a really good option, not just someone to loophole, but he could actually get a bit of a game. So the Cats need a ruckman. Basically, they're not set on their ruckman. Scott doesn't like...
What are they doing with their rucks?
Well, he doesn't like their ruckman. He doesn't like Stanley, right? Stanley's good, but he's not... Like, he improved, yes, right?
He's more of a ruck forward, not a sole ruck.
Yeah.
Zach Smith's probably more of a ruck forward, not really a ruck.
Yeah,
and
wasn't doing the job for him. Well, he was fit. He just didn't get picked.
Yeah, then you've got Abbott. Then you've got Radigalia, who's been thrown in there as well.
He'll be forward, though, mainly. Okay, so he's 205 centimetres.
Yep.
He's 25 years old. Okay, so yes, he has to overtake an inconsistent Smith and, Stanley, etc., and a mature age Abbott. But
they wouldn't go for him if they didn't think that he could be value to them this year.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they picked him with pick 65.
Yep.
His hit-out numbers stack up. So he's a former junior for Geelong. Mm-hmm. Averaged 16 disposals and 42 hit-outs, including one game where he got 72 in the sample.
72 hit-outs?
Yeah, 72 hit-outs.
Jesus.
That's disposals. I mean, jeez.
That would be a record.
That would be a record. So I think he's one to watch.
Definitely.
He might be more than just a sneaky bench option.
And so, but cheap too, 117k.
117k.
Again, someone maybe a downgrade option during the year. Do you think he plays round 1? He doesn't play round 1.
Well, who knows? You can't definitively say that one of these is better than the other.
True.
All it takes is a good preseason, and he could overtake.
Because there's no one even
knows.
No one, who's the number one rock at Geelong
That's
now?
what I mean. So it's far from lockdown, which means it is wide open.
Makes sense.
If he impresses the coaches, they might run with him. I mean, even Abbott got some games over the top of the other two. So,
and look, worst case scenario, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people this year that are running a Naismith at R3 or a Longer at R3 or a Zach Clark at R3, and maybe during the year or after the bye, they want a downgrade option. He could come into the consideration then. So definitely one to watch, guys. Next
one is Tom Atkins, 112k.
Yep.
So he was recruited from the Geelong VFL. He's 23 years of age. Had a SuperCoach average of 107. So Darcy Ford had a SuperCoach average of 123. So that's why he's a bit more relevant as well.
I like it. I love it even.
So it won't be as easy getting a gig in the midfield as we know already, but they do love a mature age recruit. So, like I said, he's 23. So Tim Kelly, Menegola, they've actually done quite well. Atkins averaged 22 disposals and 9 tackles in the VFL this year.
Any relation to Rory Atkins?
I wish.
No, I was going to say.
I wish. Next one is Jordan Clark, 144k defender.
Excellent.
Cats haven't been afraid to throw their draftees into the AFL furnace.
No, they haven't. That's one good thing that I'll say about the Cats.
So his number 15 draft pick still has a lot of upside. Only focused on football recently, which is good. And he's played against senior bodies in the waffle already. Okay. So that's kind of good. So it holds him in good stead for a potential debut. He's a very creative player who could come in and play across half back and free up Tui.
Okay.
Which is what I've got written down here. So it could be an option. A little bit more expensive, obviously, being pick 15. But, there is some room to move in defence as well.
I like it.
So I'm actually interested to see how it all works. I mean, you bring in, Rowan, you bring in Dalhouse. Yes, you lose Menzel and that sort of stuff, but then you've still got a lot of key forwards.
Yeah.
A lot of key tools. The next one I'll go through is Kruger. So I'm actually keen to see how Harry Taylor goes as well.
Yep.
Nathan Kruger, 123k forward. The reason he's relevant is he was a pre-draft selection, so they gave pick 42 to Carlton.
Okay.
Because they wanted him before he went to the draft.
Fair enough.
I think that's really good. 19-year-old, 195 centimetre key position player, capable of playing either end of the ground. So they came out and they
really need a forward.
Well, Stephen Wells, who's the Geelong's national recruiting and list manager, came out and said that, look, we've been tracking him throughout the year and been impressed by his athleticism, skill and versatility.
Yep.
So I don't see why. I mean, they have Hawkins.
Yep.
But apart from that, I mean, the second and third tall at Geelong
Taylor should be behind the ball.
I think so.
100%.
Well, they've got so many forwards now, right? But their second and third tall at Geelong is far from locked down.
Yeah.
They have too many 50-50s. They have Willie Buzzer. Like guys that are good, but...
Just never really gone anywhere.
Radaglia, yes. But other than that, you could easily... Again, their forward line isn't far from being locked down at all because they're not scoring points. So if someone comes out there and kicks some goals and provides an option or drops it to their feet... It's easy for someone to get a game.
Yeah, I think with him, it's if he shows good form in the VFL, he comes in. I don't think he probably starts early.
And I think Geelong know they need to mix it up.
Yeah.
Because the style of game that they're playing isn't good enough. The forwards aren't kicking goals.
I mean, Hawkins is a perfect candidate for them because he either takes the mark and lead, really good hit-up target, or he creates a contest. I think he's actually a really important cog, but they need two of them. Yes. They need someone else because if he's up the ground hitting logos, there's no one to kick to in the line. And Harry Taylor was taking marks and taking grabs and just spraying the ball. So, yeah.
Yep.
They need another forward. I did like the look of Radaglia.
Did you know Harry's actually...
He broke his leg, didn't he?
Who? Yeah,
Radaglia. So I don't know... Do you know how...
I think he's doing okay. I think he's doing okay. So I think he should be back. Did you know Harry's also Godfather?
Okay, cool.
Did you know Harry's the Godfather?
Harry the Godfather.
Yeah,
what?
Harry Taylor's Godfather to Cam Sprainer.
I didn't know that. Okay. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
He said he kept spraying the ball, you dickhead.
Oh, okay. Good one. Sorry. I was interested in our Twitch chat.
Chris.
Apparently the frame rate is low, so I need to do some Twitch stuff, which is fine. We'll fix that up for you guys.
Frame rate is low.
Yeah. What we'll do is we'll keep going with this podcast for audio, and then we'll fix up the video for the next pod. Sorry, guys. Keep going.
Right. Well, premiums. So just pretty much hitting the long list of premiums.
Excellent.
So Dangerfield.
Yep.
Let's throw...
Not much point.
Not much point with the low frame rate. Okay, so we're going to put that video footage on hold. Okay, so Dangerfield. Here's why I think Dangerfield's a great option, particularly for draft.
I think he's a lock. Guaranteed.
Well, he's a lock for standard, 100%. And if you're not going with him, then you are an absolute idiot. He is by far... 20 points ahead of any other forward, basically. Mm-hmm. And that's a conservative 20. lock him in. If you're not, you're just stupid, in my opinion.
You can't not start him. It's as simple as that. He's 20 points per game ahead of the next best forward.
Even for draft, I mean, you could I guess you could argue the fact that Brody Grundy is probably 25 points ahead of the next ruck minus Gawn, obviously. So Gawn and Grundy, you could argue that they're 20 to 25 points better than their next position.
Yeah,
and that's fair enough if you want to look at it that way. But Dangerfield again, 20
points.
Such
a gap.
20 points ahead, and he's the only player in that list that has averaged 119.6 or whatever it is, or more the last 4 years.
Yep.
Running.
He's a lock. And you have to spend the money on him.
Yep. So you look at his stats. Yes, he didn't start too well, 100%. We get that. Averaged 121.7 for the year. Brought it right back to a 120. Last 7 games averaged 139.1. So let me read you this. His last 7 games, 158, a 126, a 117, 132, 160, 94, 187. His last 9-round average of 132.8, only 2 scores throughout the whole year below 100, and they were both 94.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at a draft, 2 scores under 100, both 94, as a forward option, I'd be taking Dangerfield in the top 3, especially with Titch out.
Well, I'm really hoping he won't last past you, I'm guessing, but
No.
I'm really hoping he slides all the way to me.
No way.
No chance, right?
No chance, especially with Titch out.
Worth a shout.
Yeah, so only played average 119 the past 4 seasons.
Yep. That's insane.
Huge. Yep. So, the rucks, there's no guarantee. I mean, I picked up Goldie pick 2 the year when he dropped down to a 105 average. Do you know what I mean? So, who I passed on to you for Rockcliffe.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, next one, Mitch Duncan. I like Duncan. He's consistent. He did drop in average by a few points.
Wasn't too much. I think it was
not
3
too
points
much.
per
3
game.
points per game. Not too much. 13 100s.
Yep.
And he had 4.
He had more attention this year too.
Yes.
He started getting tagged in games because they see him as someone who, with his elite foot skills, can really cut up teams. And it's true. You see that when they need a goal, he's the person that they get the ball into their hands. He's the one that delivers the ball into Hawkins on a platter. So, I think Hawkins kicked 2 goals this year to win games. I think both of them were assists from Duncan. So
no, Duncan's I love him. Consistent performer. You could do worse in draft. So 13 100s, 4 of those 94 plus as well. So pretty much you're looking at 17 of his games were 94 or more.
Yep.
The sneaky I like, actually, he's cheaper, he's less average, is Joel Selwood, 105.1 average.
Yep.
The reason I like him, because he also had 13 100s, except he has a bigger ceiling for vice-captain scores.
Yep.
So Duncan's good, he'll get you the 100s, he'll get you the 115, the 110, whereas Joel Selwood has a little bit more fluctuation.
He can give you a 150, 160.
Yeah, well, here's the thing though, so 1300s, but he has a big ceiling, so he has 125, 140, 122, 135, 133, 122, 125, 159.
Yep.
Perfect. And there are a lot of pretty decent vice-captain scores.
Yeah, and I think actually Selwood, it's his lowest. I don't expect him to increase in average. I think it's a solid draft choice.
Yes.
But it's his lowest average since 2012, I think, or similar.
Yeah.
And that's 105. You know, it's I don't think he's going to be going up in value, but for a draft selection, I think he's
huge.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm big on him for draft.
Yep.
Gary Ablett, look, I'm putting him in the premiums because he's still a gun.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrespect.
He doesn't love the little master.
I don't want to disrespect the little master, right?
Yeah.
So he's 580k. He's a midfielder, 106.9 average. So he's actually still up there as far as averages. He is tipped to play more forward in 2019.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard as well.
That's what I've heard.
He's going to be playing forward, pocket, maybe isolated in the forward. Forward 50. I'm not sure how it'll go. And look, it was always going to go this way. I just think Ablett was trying to delay the inevitable. He doesn't want to play forward.
No, but he has to do what the team needs. He'll still get a run through the midfield, but it's not a bad thing to preserve his body.
Yep.
So here's the plus side. It's the most games he's played since 2013.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But it's his lowest SuperCoach output since 2007.
Yeah, which is what? But I think his average was still ridiculous. Like, he averaged 106.
Yep, and it's his lowest
since his rookie year.
Since 2007.
It's his rookie year. In his rookie year, he averaged 91. The next year, he averaged like 111. That's his lowest since his rookie year.
But we're going to give people a little bit of a little sneak preview. He did average 115.3 in the final 7 rounds.
Yeah.
So when you verse weaker opponents, like in the back end of the year, he could actually go really well for you.
Definitely.
If you can get him a little bit later. So let's see how that pans out in
We've got
fantasy.
some chat here that I just want to quickly go through. So sorry about the frame rate, guys. We'll fix that up. The recording's going well. So when you see this on YouTube, there won't be an issue. So it just must be an issue with the internet, which we will try and fix up. We've got Stonesy there said any chance of a Twitch draft team for us committed. We're actually looking at a draft league.
That's funny. Are you reading minds? Although we're not. It's not so much about it might be a draft team of those who have followed us closely for the last 12 months and those that we like.
Yeah. we're
Banter strong.
thinking of like a selection process where we actually select
Banter strong.
10 other people to join us in a draft league this year, which would be fun. We've also got St. James 2019. Said, welcome guys. Hashtag Saints 2019. Return of the King. Finals bound. Road to glory. I respect that. Positive. I like it.
Possible.
And then we've got TEP Doherty. So he's one of our Twitch followers as well. He says, reckon Gadge's body holds up in the forward pocket. 20 touches and 2 goals per game. Few spike games in there too, surely. Yeah. I see him as someone who's going to be similar to Robbie Gray this year. So in terms of output, so he'll still play midfield and have his big games.
He'll still get some. I still see
him
averaging...
kick 6 goals and get a 150 every now and then.
He'll still average over 100.
Yeah.
He'll get you some 80s, 90s, and then some 120s and 150s.
And you're going to be able to... If you're in a draft, you're going to be able to pick him up in the second round.
Why would you get him in the second round?
Well, you wouldn't need to pick... Like, if let's
say he's a midfielder still.
What do you mean?
He's a mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you pick 100 average mid?
No, 106 average mid.
I'm not picking him up at 106.
100%. Or you might be able to pick him...
I got him in the second round last year.
Well, let's see.
I picked him at overs.
Let's see what happens. But in a 12-man league...
last pick, maybe.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, you've got to remember, like, that goes to pick 24.
Pass. Pass. Gary Ablett, 100. Pick him at 100, not at 107.
I hate to stop smiling.
Okay, next one is Tom Hawkins.
Yep.
Have to put him in the premium category because he is one of the most expensive forwards.
Yep.
Average 101.8 for the year.
It's crazy that Tom Hawkins is... I think he was the second
most
highest
expensive.
Forward. Yeah.
Yep.
Isn't that insane? Because I would never have picked Tom Hawkins as a pick last year. And he just had big games, hey?
552k. His best SuperCoach output in his career.
Yep.
So if you look at his past 5 years, the highest was 87.1. So he's gone bang, another 14 points on top of his highest previously. And that's what gives me concern.
Yep.
He's up there now, but is he going to withhold that? Is he going to maintain that form? He had an outstanding year. 100%. But can you pick him knowing that he's that one anomaly spike? Can he maintain it again? And that's where my concern is. Big ceiling though, he got a 127, 122, 140, 151, 136, 144. Really boosts up the average.
Mm-hmm.
Did average 118.6 in his last 8 rounds, and that's including he had a 59 game in there.
Yeah,
so
not bad.
Huge back end to the year.
Now, can you pick him though? I just tend to lean away from big forwards.
Yeah. I'd rather
just because the inconsistency.
I'd rather pick Tom Lynch at Richmond with one bung knee at the moment, and that's horrible.
I don't know.
A is cheaper.
He's not going to hurt you, is he? Like, he's not going to go 110.
No.
So then he's not really a value. He can't go 110, right?
Well, he could hurt you on a week to week, but then
he could
always cost you games there. He gets you 57 and you're like, eh.
To me, I think Hawkins has always been the guy that, he can pick up a 150 in a week, but the next week he's going to pick up a 60 or a 30. Like, I don't like the big forwards for a specific reason. They're just not as consistent.
Well, I think at the moment he's probably the only big forward you'd probably look at.
Yep.
Menangola, our saviour. Menangola.
Yep. Excellent.
100 average on the dot. 543k. The good thing about Menangola is, so for the last 3 years, yes, the first year he didn't play many games, but 99.3, 100.4, and then 100.
Yep.
He still gets the job done.
I actually was going to make a little bit of a joke towards our mates over at SuperCoach Elites, but you've already got the stats there. You know how they do their Who Am I on the...
Yeah, who am I?
I averaged 116 over my last 6 games as a forward.
Yeah.
So good. Well done, Menegola.
So average 116
over last
116.8 over his last 6 rounds. All of those 100s. 114, 100, 144, 119, 112, 112.
You know what's interesting about Menegola?
And won us the bet.
Yeah, but the thing I really love about Menegola is that I actually looked through, okay, maybe he only goes big in wins. Maybe he only has different periods of the year where he goes big. He's actually just, it's a classic forward. Where 1 week he might have a bad week, but he had 140s in losses, he had 140s in wins. He had 60s in wins and 60s in losses. Like, there's no consistent pattern, but he's just a good option.
Here's the thing with Menangola. Great for draft. He's good for standard if you're willing to ride the ups and downs. So like I said, we'll go through. He had 11 scores of 110 or more.
Yep.
But So that's 11 scores, Chris. That's pretty good ratio.
Yeah, when he goes big, he goes big.
110 or more.
Yeah.
But his lows include a 57, a 59, a 65, a 71, and a 74.
Yeah. And that's the issue with him. And I find that, but there's no pattern to that.
No.
You can't pick it. It's just he scores when he wants to score, and he doesn't score when he doesn't want to score. So look, Menegola, I think is a good option.
I think we'll have to call him Menon Bipolar.
See what you did there. Did you write that down?
No, I
just thought of it.
I was trying to figure out how to work it.
Yeah. Okay. You need to reverse 5 or something.
Okay,
that was awkward.
Left high five.
All right. Good.
What am I here? Take my strong hand, child. Take my strong hand.
Scary reference.
Okay, so next one, Tim Kelly, we touched on before.
Yep.
93.2 average, 505k. As a forward midfielder option this year, makes him more relevant.
He's only forward because he got swung forward in how many last 8 games of the year or whatever. He was going way better than 101 average, and then he got put forward. He would just float in and out of games, and he still had some impact. But he was I think 2nd or 3rd in the competition for loose ball gets at one point. He was dominating in the midfield.
Yeah, he had a quiet middle patch.
Yeah, he got pushed forward. Danger got more mid-time towards the end of the year. And
his back end wasn't that bad, though.
Yeah.
He started to impact games a little bit.
His front end was insane.
So the front end, his first 7 games, he averaged 101.1.
Yep.
His last 7 games, he averaged 97.
Yep.
But those middle 8 games, he averaged 82.8.
Okay, so came back with a bit of a flurry.
Yeah, yep. So he came back with a little bit of flurry. I think he started to break the lines a little bit more. Basically, yeah, so he had 6 scores of 112 plus. So that's the benefit with Kelly. I'm not sure how he's going to go after being told he can't go home. Apparently, he's still a jet. He's still training hard and he's still impressive.
I think you would be. You're a professional.
I know. Yeah, but are you a professional? You're from Western Australia. No, but
they are 3 hours behind most people.
You would like to think that he's come and he's like, right, I'm just going to work my ass off and increase my pay packet. And I think that's probably what it came down to, going home. Because if he signed another contract and went home to Western Australia,
he'd be on way more money.
He'd be on
way more money.
Huge money. And I think that was part of the factor. Hey, I get to go.
They've got a cheap contract.
I get to go home.
Yeah.
I don't get paid peanuts.
Why wouldn't you want to?
Yeah, well, you'd cancel that contract out and you'll be on $500,000.
There's no reason why you wouldn't.
They'd pay him $500,000.
100%.
He'd go from being on $100,000 a year.
He'd be on
500,000
with match payments. He might be on 150 grand a year, I reckon.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be on much at all. Not on a rookie contract, and there's no way he's signing a new contract with them this year to get that pay rise.
No.
So
exactly.
Now it's just literally a year where he just probably lost $250,000 this year.
Yeah, and work your ass off
after tax.
But to be fair, he would have got less playing in the seconds anyway. So
true.
Over in Western Australia,
you can't. Yeah, beggars can't be choosers. But I mean, as an AFL star, I reckon you just.
The only mid-pricer is Luke Falhouse, as you call him.
Luke Falhouse.
Luke Falhouse.
Yes, unfortunately that's from Bevo though, isn't it?
Yes.
Look, I still think he represents value, but you just got to wait and see his role.
Well, he'll be playing. He won't be playing midfield, surely.
Well, that's the thing.
Menzel's gone. He'll be playing forward.
Of all the teams who could pick up a Dalhouse, they clearly got him to play forward.
Yes.
So, but he obviously wants to play midfield. So I'm confused about the entire setup that they've got. But he has obviously gone 4 seasons of a 90-plus average, so he's got value there. And he's gone 104 before. I won't be picking him. And there's he would literally have to play pure midfield in the JLT, and then Scott comes out and says he's going to be playing midfield for us this year. That's the only way that I can see him in my side.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am with you 100%. I think their setup just suits that smaller forward.
Yep.
And I think he'll be great in that position. Him and Ablett.
Yep.
That'd be an awesome small forward line.
Fair enough.
Well, that's like top elite.
I like it.
I like it a lot. So we'll move on to draft specials. I include Luke Dalhouse in that draft special.
Yep.
Based on the potential he can bring, not based on what he is at the
moment. You can pick him up late. Definitely pick him up late.
You could. One to watch, I got Cockatoo. Apparently he's training well. He's had bad luck with injuries. He's always been up and down with his scoring as well, which doesn't bode well for me.
He's just not an accumulator. He's an impact player, but yeah.
But he's my one to watch because, like I said, it's either premiums or bust. He's less than 200k. So if he trains well and takes his opportunities, I know it's a far cry, but he could provide value.
Fair enough.
Could, probably won't.
I've got some breakout contenders I want to run past you.
No way.
Yeah. So first one is Parfit. Parfit.
Yeah, I did have.
Sorry, I have to say it like BT says it. So he could be a flash in the pan. It's about mid-time. And he had a bit of it with some early injuries to Geelong last year.
Yes.
Hit that 164. Oh, that was a good game.
Yeah, but that inflates his average.
100%. So he had an 80 average. Is it a flash in the pan? or is that a sign that if he gets more minutes, he's got a lot more to give?
I do like him.
So 80 average, someone you can have on your bench and draft.
Yeah, but the problem is with that 160 score, his probably true average is more like 70. Except
70, 75, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, but everyone's picking him up at an 80 average, which means that you're already paying...
if he gets the bench, you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it just depends on what else is available and how deep the league is.
I'd rather get like a Luke McDonald or something on a bench as cheaper.
Not based on the stats I looked at last night. Now, the actual breakout contender. So the number one breakout contender for the Cats is Tom Stewart. So he had a ankle injury in the first quarter of round 19, and took him out on 17. Gives him a true average of 88.7. However, he also is second in kickouts only to Zach Toohey. So Zach Toohey last year had 85 kickouts, which I thought was pretty low for someone like Zach Toohey.
Yes.
Stewart had 73 kickouts, so he's actually a very close second. The only thing about that is he actually plays on half the time. So when you play on, obviously you kick to yourself and then you get a stat anyway, which obviously impacts his average. So if you take that into consideration and only take half of his kickouts as a true representation of value add, then he can potentially pick up 80 to 100 points in a year there. So that would put him at around a 90 average, which means that he's at that verge of breaking out into the top 10 defenders. So definitely someone to keep an eye on. I think great draft smoker because he averaged 83 for the year. So you'll probably be able to pick him up fairly late in draft, maybe as a D4 option, or a D3, depending on, again, how deep your league is. Tom Stewart, someone to look at, definitely. Okay. Zach Toohey as well, I mean, with the amount of kickouts he takes, could be anything, but up and down, up and down, up and down. And I've been on that train before, and I'm not going to do it again.
I've been on the train too.
No, can't do that.
Too many.
Yeah, too many. Too. Good one. For me, Tom Stewart, I think is one to definitely watch. His role is really important to the side, and if you can get him at cheap too,
I do like him.
Cheap, jump on board because he's definitely underpriced.
And he's impressive.
5 to 8 points undervalued based on this year. So I don't think he's ever going to be like top 6.
Like, he's not going to be value though.
But yeah, he's going to be decent value. I mean, the thing is that there's going to be a massive gap between the top 6-10 defenders and then the rest this year because I think they're going to be inflated from the kick-out rules. So they might go up. If you're looking at a Simpson who averaged 105, going up 5 points per game, and then if you look at
but then also take 5 points off for being an old man.
Well, then he's still 105.
Then he's averaging.
So even though he might bridge the gap a little bit this year, I don't think it's going to be enough to get him quite to that plus 100, which is I think where most defenders are going to be this year.
You're right.
Anyway, cool.
Okay, wonderful. Well, that pretty much sums us up for Geelong.
It does.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you beg to differ, like someone did on an Adelaide podcast.
Yep.
No, Adelaide's not top 8. It's all opinion.
Cool, it's all opinion.
Like, I think Saints are going to win the premiership this year.
Hey, get in there. What's his...
Only because Lions are another year off.
St. James 29.
Yeah, St. James. And my cousin Brad goes for the Saints. So.
Fair enough. I like the Saints too.
I wish they do better, but...
I'm looking forward to their podcast.
How do we know? I had West Coast bottom 4.
Yeah.
Like, who are you to judge? Who am I to judge? Like, it's just speculation.
I know, have it right up there.
Right in front, mate. Anyway, thank you very much. Follow us all on all the socials. We'll fix up this video for the Twitch followers, and we'll get this up to you shortly.
We will. Catch you soon, guys.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right. Those on Twitch... Stop recording.